शङ्करांश भूम शङ्करार्यपीठसद्गुरुन् शुद्धसत्त्वभासुरान् सुवर्त्मनीतभूसुरान् सर्वभूतसौख्यदान् क्षमाकरान् यतीश्वरान्
परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम् अपरोक्षानुभूतिर्वै प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन मुहुः. So we are on the 100th shloka. We had started it. So the theme of this shloka is from here onwards for about 22 slokas or so, the yoga, that is the practice for Nididhyasanam or practice as part of Nididhyasanam is being discussed, and the concepts of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras have been adapted to Vedanta. So it has got a unique meaning and all that in Vedanta. So all those things will be discussed in these coming shlokas. So the 100th shloka is Tripanchangani Atho Pakshye Purvoktasya hi labdhaye Taishcha Sarvais Sada Karyam Nididhyasanamevatu. So here it says 15 limbs. Limb is the actual literal translation of Anga. Yoga, Anga, Ashtanga Yoga. So the Anga is limb or parts or stages, we can say. So 15 parts are being spoken of here. Pakshiye. Purvoktasya hi labdhaye. Purvokta means the Brahman, which has been taught in the earlier slokas. To attain that Brahman, the practice involves the intense implementation of these 15 practices taught here, sadhanas taught here. Taishcha sarvaihi sada karyam nididhyasanamevatu. So these are all part of nididhyasanam alone, and that has to be very seriously in a focused manner. It has to be practiced. So in the commentary, we had seen certain portions, but I will go over them again. Tadevam etavata grantha sandarbhena mukhyadikarinah वैराग्यादि साधन चतुष्टय पूर्वकम वेदांत वाक्य विचारः एव प्रत्येक भिन्न ब्रह्म अपरोक्ष ज्ञान द्वारा मुख्यं मोक्ष कारणमिति अभिहितम्. So in the foregoing portion, the Vedanta sadhana of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana has been given as the main sadhana for the Mukhyadikaris. Mukhyadikaris are those who are very well endowed with the sadhana chaturthi sampatti. So Vedanta Vakya Vicharaha, that is what is the main sadhana for them. Pratyeka bhinna brahma aparoksha jnana dwara. So Vedanta Vichara involves Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So through this practice, Mukhyam Brahmoksha Karanam iti abhidam. So this aikyam of the Jivatman and Paramatman, that will be realized by such practice, and moksha will be attained. So the cause of what leads to moksha is this. So that has been taught in the earlier, the foregoing shlokas. Idanim asakrad vicharyapi buddhimandya vishayasatyadi pratibandhena aparoksha jnanam yasya na jayate tasya mandadikarinah nirguna brahmopasana meva mukhyam sadhanam iti abhipretya sasadhanam dhyana yogam pratijanate acharyaha tripancheti. So in the sequel, the topic is for the sadhanas that are laid out in the sequel is for those aspirants who have not been able to attain the realization of Brahman despite their engaging in the sadhanas for a long time. And the reason for this is could be, he specifies one or two, buddhimandya, that is their intellect is not sharp enough to grasp the Brahman or the Brahmatma Aikya Jnana, or Vishayasakta, that is they are engrossed in the external sense objects. So these reasons can be impediments in the realization of the Vedantic Brahman. So for such people, in order to overcome these specific defects or shortcomings, the sadhanas, yoga sadhanas are being stated or enumerated in the sequel. So tasya mandadi karanaha. So these people are not the top-notch aspirants. They are of the middling type or the lowly type. So Mandadikarinaha Nirguna Brahma Upasanameva Mukyam Sadhanam. So he is making a distinction between Nirguna Brahma Upasanam and Nirguna Brahma Vicharaha or Jnanam. So Nirguna Brahma Vichara is being distinguished from the Nirguna Brahma Upasanam. So the Upasanam and Vichara are shown as two different practices. So in Vedanta, we definitely accept that kind of a thing. See, in the Upasanam, the involvement in that while practicing it is not born of conviction, whereas in the Vichara, it's born of strong conviction. So that distinction is there between the two. So Nirguna Brahma Upasanameva Mukyam Sadhanam iti abhipretya sasadhanam dhyana yogam pratijanate acharyaha. So the dhyana yogam. So apart from Vichara, distinct from Vichara yoga, Vichara sadhana, dhyana sadhanam is being shown here. And we can relate it to Swami Vidyaranya's Panchadashi 9th chapter, which is also called Dhyana Deepam. There also this similar kind of thing is there. And there he very beautifully establishes that through this Dhyanam of Brahman, a person will be able to attain the Brahma Jnana. So that is the theme there also. So here also, that is the theme. Atha Shabdo Adhikari Bedartaha. In the shloka, Tripanchangani Atha. Pakshe Atha means the a distinction between the earlier Adhikari and this Adhikari is being made. So that is what is being signified by the term Atha. Then क्वचित् अतः इति पाठः तस्मिन् पक्षे यतो मन्दाधिकारी विचारं न लभते अतः हेतोः इत्यर्थः. In some readings, the shloka is having this instead of atha in the Mahaprana, it is having atha in the ato in the Alpa Prana. So in such a case, ato means therefore. So therefore, for that reason. So what is the reason? For the reason that the earlier adhikaris are distinct from the present adhikari. So that is the reason for such an adhikari, this new sadhana is being taught. So here, ataha, so this mandadikari is there. So the earlier adhikari was a mukhya adhikari. So for the sake of the mandadikari, he is being shown by the term ataha. And tripancha, trigunitani pancha, panchadasha ityartaha. Tripancha means 3 times 5. 3 times 5 will be 15. So 15 sadhanas are being taught here. Tripancha, trigunitani, pancha. Gunitani means multiplied. 3 multiplied by 5. 3 gunitani, pancha, panchadasha ityartaha. Panchadasha means 15. Tat sankhyan, angani, nididhyasana, angisadhana, visheshan, yagna sadhana, sadhaka, prayajadi vate ityartaha. So he's hello. So the 15 limbs are part of the main sadhana, which is the Vedanta sadhana. So he is drawing a similarity between this and the yaga. So in the yaga, so yaga yajna sadhaka prayajadivate. So prayaja are all important components of one main yaga. So if the prayajas are not done in a prescribed manner, the main yaga will not be accomplished. So in the same way here also, if the 15 sadhanas are not practiced in the prescribed manner, the main sadhana of attaining Brahman or the practice nididhyasana itself will not be accomplished. So that is a parallel he draws from the Karma Kanda. Vakshye vakshyami. Vakshye means I am going to say this. I am going to elaborate on this. Taihi vakshyamaihi sarvaihi angaihi nididhyasanameva karyam natu tushnim avasthanam uchitam ityartaha. So by these 15 angas, that is 15 sadhanas, each one of these is extremely important, and they have to be clearly, very nicely, very properly practiced, and one has to engage in nididhyasanam through this practice in a focused manner. At any cost, a person should not give up this practice and remain quiet. So if he remains quiet, he will be losing. He will be the loser. So yajna sadhaka prayaja tushnim avasthanam uchitam ityartaha. Nididhyasana kartavya pratigna prayojana maha puroktasyeti. So what is the fruit that is going to be attained through this nididhyasanam? So that is being stated, puroktasyeti. Puroktasya swarupavasthana rakshana mokshasya siddhaya ityartaha. So in the shloka, in the first line, in the second half, Purvoktasya hi siddha labdhaye. So Purvokta means the Brahman which has been taught in the earlier slokas, the Brahman which is non-different from the Atman that has been taught in the previous slokas, and definitely the Pravancha Mithyatvam and all that has to be accomplished. So in order to accomplish all that, this 15 sadhanas will be of indispensable use, extreme use. Puroktasya Swarupavasthana Lakshanam Mokshasya Siddhaye. So what is that jnanam? It's actually leading to moksha. So that moksha is given the other name as the Swarupa Avasthana Lakshanam. A person who is established in his Swarupa, that itself is moksha. In Advaita, it's not that for moksha one has to one has to go to some other loka, or one will attain moksha only after this life. No, that is not the case. Even by living in this body itself, when a person gets the realization of the Paramatman Surupam, he is actually a mukta. So moksha is here itself. It is not going to some other place. He iti Vedanta prasiddhau. So this is what is very, very popular, very, very well known in the Vedanta, that is in the Upanishads. Tu shabdaha Patanjala Vailakshanya Lakshanena Mokshasya Siddhaye ityartha iti. So in this shloka, Purvoktasya hi labdhaye hi tu shabdaha taisya sarvai sada karyam nididhyasanameva tu. So in the last word is tu in the 100th shloka. So that tu means, it signifies that this practice is distinct from the practice of the Patanjala system. So even though the word yoga is used here and many terms from there also are going to be used here, still this what is stated here is distinct from the Patanjala yoga system, to show that the word tu is there. So the word tu will have many meanings, and here that meaning of its contrasting or distinguishing this Vedanta sadhana from the Patanjala system is signified by the word tu. Then anena ashtanga pratipadakam Patanjalam avaidikatvat vaisheshikadivat anadeyam iti janitam. So by saying this, by indicating that these sadhanas are distinct from the Patanjala yoga sadhana, Acharya is implicitly saying that the Patanjala system, since it is contradictory to the Vedantic system, Vedanta, that is of the Upanishads, it should not be resorted to. Just like Vaisheshika, Nyaya, and all that should not be resorted to for moksha, in the same way, this Patanjala system also should not be resorted to. That is the message that is being conveyed, implicitly conveyed through the word tu. So that's what Swami Vidyaranya says. And with this, the commentary for the 100th sloka is over. Priya Tripanchangan Yatho Vakshye Purvoktasya hi labdhaye Taisya Sarvai Sada Karyam Nididhyasanamevatu. So now we will get into the next shloka, 101. Uttira shloka.
Nityabhyasadrute praptirna bhavet satchidatmanaha tasmad brahma nididhyasad jignasuhu shreyase chiram.
Ali nodi nididhyaset anta irಬೇಕು ನೋಡಿ. Nididhyaset jignasuhu shreyase chiram anta irಬೇಕು ನೋಡಿ.
Nididhyaset nididhyaseta nididhyasata
ಇಲ್ಲ nididhyaset jignasuhu shreyase chiram anta. Nididhyaset ante ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಧಿಧ್ಯಾಸಾತ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಹೌದಾ? ಓಕೆ ಸರಿ.
ಸರಿ. ನಿತ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸಾತ್ ಕೃತೆ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಹಿ ಅಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಭವೇತ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾತ್ಮನಃ of the nature of pure existence consciousness bliss. Tasmat therefore Brahma, the truth, nididhyaset, should meditate, jignasuhu, a seeker, shreyase, for good, chiram, always.
Okay. So nityabhyasa dhrite praptihi na bhavet sachidatmanaha. So the practice has to be unbroken, without any break and with order. So again, we have a very beautiful sutra in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjala Sutras. Satu dirgha kala nairantaryena satkara sevito dridha bhumihi. Any yogic practice will be will become deep-rooted only when it is practiced by adhering to three conditions. One condition is dirgha kala. It has to be done for a very long time. We can't expect results in very short periods. That is not possible. So very long time it has to be practiced for a long time. Dirgha kala, nairantaryana, without any break, it has to be, nirantara practice has to be there. And satkara sevitaha, that is, it has to be practiced with a lot of love and ardor. That is, one should not think that it is a big punishment to me or it is a very painful to me. Such things should not be there. You should practice it with all love, that it is going to give me the great fruit of moksha, bliss. So that should be the attitude while practicing it. So these three conditions are laid there: dirgha kala, nairantarya, and satkara sevita. So in the same way here also he says, nityabhyasat rite praptihi na bhavet sachidatmanaha. The accomplishment of the realization of the Sachidananda Swarupa Brahman is impossible without putting in the efforts on a very, very regular manner. It should not be irregular. It should not be without any break. It has to happen. Nityabhyasat rite praptihi na bhavet. Tasmat brahma nididhyaset jignasuhu shreyase chiram. So for this reason, an aspirant has to engage himself in nididhyasana for a long time. Chiram means for a long time. For what? For shreyas. The shreyas is mukti, moksha. So in the commentary, the Acharya says, Mandadi karyan sarvam kari, okay. Mandadikari anyat sarvam karma sagunopasana vichara rupam sadhanam cha vihaya shraddhaya acharyokta prakarena nirgunam brahmaiva nididhyase dityaha nityeti. So in this shloka, the message is that the Mandadikari, that is the aspirant of the lowly type, he is the one who has to practice this. And he, anyat sarvam karma sagunopasana vicharam rupam sadhanam cha. So he has to give up two types of activities. One activity is the karma. That is, the karma is a purely bodily activity, and mental activity of sagunopasana. So that also has to be given up by him. That's what the Acharya says here. So sagunopasana vichara rupam sadhanam cha vihaya. So that sagunopasanam has to be given up, and the karma also has to be given up. These two are actually prescribed for the reason that karma will give him chitta shuddhi and sagunopasanam will give him chitta ekagrata. But here, this adhikari is admitted, or he is expected to have done all this before. So now he has to engage completely in Vedanta sadhanam vihaya shraddhaya acharyokta prakarena nirgunam brahmaiva nididhyase. So he has to practice this nirguna upasanam in the manner his guru prescribes to him. So because this is very important, because each aspirant is of a different nature. He can't be said to be the same like other aspirants. So for each aspirant, the sadhana is customized like by the acharya, by his guru. So the guru's instructions can be different from one aspirant to another. So you can't, one should not expect it to be uniform. So this customization is admitted in this shastra. So this acharya says, shraddhaya acharyokta prakarena nirgunam brahmaiva nididhyaseti ityaha nityeti. Okay, next shloka. Next shloka.
Yamohi niyamastyago maunam deshascha kalata asanam moolabandhascha deha samyam cha dhrikstitihi. Innondu odbidla continuous. Prana samyamanam chaiva pratyaharascha dharana atmadhyanam samadhischa proktanyangani vai kramat. Yamaha, control of the senses. He indeed. Niyamaha, control of the mind. Tyagaha, renunciation. Maunam, silence. Deshaha, place. Cha, and. Kalataha, time. Asanam, posture. Moolabandhaha, the root that restrains. Cha, and. Deha samyam, equipoise of the body, cha, and drukstitihi, steadiness of vision, prana samyamanam, control of the vital forces, cha, and eva also, pratyaharaha, self-withdrawal, cha, and dharana, concentration, atma-dhyanam, meditation on the self, samadhihi, complete absorption, cha, and proktani are described, angani, the steps, why verily, kramat, in order.
So all the 15 have been enumerated in these two shlokas. Yamaha, Niyamaha, Tyagaha, Maunam, Deshaha, Kalata, Asanam, Mulabandhascha, Dehasamyam, Drikstitihi, Prana Sanyamanam, that is Pranayamam, Chaiva, Pratyahara. Pratyahara is the withdrawal of the senses from the sense organs, sense objects. Dharana is the initial state of meditation, and it will dovetail it to the Atma Dhyanam, and Atma Dhyanam will be culminating in the attainment of Samadhi. So these are the 15 sadhanas taught here. So the meaning generally what we can give here, of course, each item is going to be described or stated in a very clear manner in the subsequent shlokas. So here we can get the meaning as Yamaha is control of the it's actually total self-control. It has got 5 limbs in the Yoga Shastra, but here it will be given a different, slightly different meaning here. Then Niyamaha. Niyama is actually the purification of the personality. Somewhat it can be related to the Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Then Tyagaha is very well known, that is, one has to give up, then renunciation kind of thing. Then Maunam, restraint of speech. Desha is resorting to the place where there's not going to be any disturbance and things like that. Then Kalataha, also, this also plays a very nice role in the sadhana. Asanam, the type of seating he has to make, but then all this will be given a Vedantic meaning here. Mulabandha also is something which is peculiar to the Patanjali Yoga, which is getting a different meaning in this Vedanta. Then Deha Samyam, that is the keeping the body in an erect position. Then Drikstitihi, also vision of the actually in the Drikstitihi, in the Dhyanam practice, it will be the focusing the eyes on the tip of the nose or the middle of the eyebrows. So, but here it is a different nature. Prana Sanyamanam, that is the pranayamam or the control of the prana. Chaiva Pratyahara is the withdrawal of the sense organs from the sense objects and all that. Dharana, Dhyanam, Samadhi, Proktani, Angani, Kramat. So here in the commentary, the Acharya says, Nano, Kanitani Angani Yai Saha Nididhyasanam Kartavyam Tyapekshayam, Tani Nirdishati, Yamaha iti Dvabhyam. Uttanartham Uttanarthau Ubhavapi Shlokau. So he says the 15 sadhanas which were stated, which were mentioned, that is the quantity, the number of the sadhanas was mentioned in the 100th shloka. So what those 15 are being stated in these 2 shlokas, 102 and 103. And the meaning of these, each one of which is clear to us. That's what the Acharya says. But then for us, definitely they are not clear. We have to definitely get into the actual shlokas that are going to clarify them in a very great detail. So here, this shloka Vodbudi 104. Now we can continue it in the next class. Sarvam
Brahmeti Vijnanadindriya Grama Samyamaha Yamoyamiti Samprokto Abhyasaniyo Muhur Muhuhu. Sarvam, all, Brahma, truth, iti, Vijnanat, from such knowledge, Indriya Grama Sanyamam, the restraint of all the senses, Yama iti, as Yama, I am this, Samproktaha is rightly called, Abhyasaniyaha, should be practiced, Muhu, 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 repeatedly, again and again.
So here, the Indriya Grama Sanyamaha means the restraint of the Indriyas, that is sense organs. And the Indriya Grama means it will include the Karmendriyas also. The 5 Jnanendriyas and the 5 Karmendriyas, they will have their own respective objects. For example, the form or shape or color is the object of the organ eye. Then sound is the organ of object of the organ ear. So for each organ, there is a specific object or vishaya. So the restraint of the organs from their respective vishayas by infusing the thought that everything is Brahman. So when everything is Brahman, what is the need for me to be attached to this or that sense object? So that is the idea. So Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat Indriya Grama Sanyamaha Yamaha. This is called Yamaha Ayamiti Samproktaha Abhyasaniyaha Muhurmuhu. One has to constantly, repeatedly practice this restraint of the senses with the feeling, with the idea that everything is Brahman. So that is the kind of upasana shown here. So we will end this session here. We will continue in the next class. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham Aparokṣānubhūti Prochyate Moksha Siddhaye Sadbhireva Prayatnena Vikshaniya Muhurmuhu Shastram Sharirami Mamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharya Santume Janma Janmani Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvagnam Vidushekara Bharati Om Tat Sat.